blessing on it. Too real, this ain't metaphoric. We just put the I in iconic. Buzzing like I'm electronic. Yeah, I put a blessing on it. See me dripping in it 24/7 on it. I'm just being honest. Holy water dripping from my neck to my crep, so I'm two-stepping on it like.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah. So on hot buttons out of here.
Hot buttons.
What is your favorite part
of the book?
Is there a particular story?
There's Black Roads. Black Roads make me cry. And when I was younger, and I hate to say this, I shouldn't say this.
So explain.
I shouldn't say this.
In your opinion, what is Black Roads?
I was in Afghanistan, and somebody I knew well. That was a good person. At the farm, and it was a long, drawn out death, and people were involved, and it was. Anyway, you have to read it, but interesting in itself. And I'm getting a top off here, and thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. But it was that took a heart. That was hard, and the book is dedicated to that gentleman that lost his life. But that was hard to write. There's a book in there too. There's a story in there called. It's about a mermaid. Oh, The Wish. The Wish. And did you read that? Probably not. And I got some feedback on that, and I really like that story too.
What was the feedback?
Wow. I mean, there's a quote in the front of it I wrote myself that we tend to wish for things that we don't have. And, kind of don't appreciate what we already have. And that's what it was about. The story was about that. I think it would make a great children's book, but I don't write children's books. Yeah. And a lot of people do, and it's kind of easy. And I don't mean to punk anybody out, any authors out there, because it's kind of easy to write a children's book. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to get hate mail from that. But I think it would make a great. I think that story. If you dumbed it down for like a 5 or 6 year old, it would make a good children's story. I really do. And again, it's called The Wish. And anyway, guy meets a mermaid. And again, more ocean stuff, beach stuff, and makes that decision. So,
do you feel like in different areas when you were down at the beach or the island that it resonates and helps you come up with?
No. I've spent so much time around the ocean, in it, on it, around it.
Yes.
I've just been so much. So it comes out of my writing. I mean, right. I can't help to use that as a setting because I love it. Mm-hmm. And it's there's an old quote from years ago: "Salt water cures everything, whether it's tears, sweat, or the ocean." Mm-hmm. Maybe it says the sea. I'm not sure, but tears, sweat, or the sea, right? Salt water cures everything. And I've always
Kel can tell us.
And I used to surf. I've surfed the East Coast, West Coast. I've surfed a lot too. In world-class breaks too, and I've been out. I've sailed. I've been out for days out on the water. I mean, I've scuba dived. I'm a master diver. I mean, I just love being around that. And right. There's a lot of questions around it. And I talked about it's somehow settling. Also, too, the ocean, right? Mm-hmm. It's if you believe in evolution. We can talk about evolution if you want next. But if you believe in evolution, we crawled out of the ocean. I will say, 9 months in my, in an amniotic sac that's, salt, right? Mm-hmm. Salt water. It's that. I think too, once you're born, once you go to the ocean, it's like, unless you have a boat, then you're screwed. But once you get to the beach, you can't go any further. It's like, what's over the next mountain? What's mm-hmm. around the next turn? Mm-hmm. And then you get to the ocean. And there's a beach, and then the ocean's there, and that's it. And then you could sit and relax mm-hmm. and have a drink, mm-hmm. and ponder whatever, read, and take it easy. So I think there's a lot that draws us to the ocean. Besides I don't know, a Jimmy Buffett song or whatever, and a margarita. There's other things, but I've spent so much time around the water and loved it, and met great people there too, that it's hard not to find that in my writing, if that makes any sense.
Have you ever had a fear of the ocean?
No, not at all. No, not at all. Well, I almost died in it a couple times, but other than that, no.
You started talking in a couple of our first deals and interviews and having you on the show where you're at the ripe age of 5, just remembered some of the most epic things that things your grandfather said, and I'm thinking to myself that, my God, at 5 I was running around doing
we all did that.
return
No, we all did that. We all did that.
But did you have like at young ages where
5, I was running around doing lines.
I mean, you know,
We all did that, but wasn't there
but
anything?
were you
hang on,
afraid
un
of
momento.
sharks? I
Un
mean,
mo-
there's
un momento, un
the
momento.
ocean's a big.
Wasn't there anything? I mean, like I remember
broad-
my 3rd birthday. Isn't there anything when you were younger that something just kind of pierced it? Pierced all the running around and whatever, being dirty and your friends and throwing rocks into whatever, or breaking something, or I mean, isn't there anything that when you were at that age that pierced that and you remember that? Isn't there anything?
Yes.
Well, then there you go. That's what it was. It was
was
one of
this
those things that
huge,
pierced that, and you
giant-
remembered it. What'd you do? Like break something your parents like held dear to themselves?
I know.
Took out your mom's wedding ring and like threw it into a creek or something? And
Nope.
What? What was it?
I was running around the house and I had my little brother and was dragging him around like a rag doll.
There you
I think
go.
he was like 2.
Nursemaid's elbow.
And went around the back of the house, and there was we were out in the country, not very far from here, out in the middle of nowhere. And there was a ginormous coiled up rattlesnake. And I had to protect my brother. I had everything. And at that point in time is when, at a very young age, that I realized, oh shit, I should maybe like put on a shoe or maybe like a shirt or something.
Well,
Because
hang on. You
this is
understood.
like, I mean, I was like a female Mowgli that was running around from
but you
freaking Jungle Book.
understood the threat,
You damn right I did.
and you're protecting it.
You damn right I did.
And that pierced that. And there's things in everybody's life, whatever it is. It may be a rattlesnake. It may be a quote. It may be, I don't know. They took out mom's wedding ring and lost it in the backyard. But there's things that pierce that, and you remember it.
Yeah.
So
No, I'll never forget it like it was yesterday.
don't fault me for it, because it's happened to you. And you're a gypsy.
Soul by
And
soul.
And I heard gypsies remember everything.
Well, maybe some are better than others, but yeah. But yeah, that was definitely a very touching oh shit moment at a very tiny age for me.
We did not spend a lot of time talking about this book.
I love y'all. I want y'all to keep this rolling. I'm not gonna cut y'all off.
Okay.
So there's no time.
All right. Are we doing okay?
Yeah, we're doing great. No, we're doing
Are
great.
we?
We're
Maybe
doing
I'm
great.
just drunk, but y'all are killing
Well,
No,
you weren't
we're-
here the
we're
second
doing
time.
well.
You weren't here
No,
the
you
second
wanna
time,
talk
and the
this
first time. The first time I came in blind. I'll be honest. I came in blind.
I know.
I came in straight up blind. I had no idea what to expect, and you wouldn't even talk to me. You're like, nope. You gave me the stiff arm and said,
Well-
I'm not even going to talk to you because I need to go in blind. And I went in
I
blind.
do.
I know shit. So,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that we have some kind of chemistry.
I love it.
I'm glad we have a chemistry on the camera. I'm glad we have a chemistry on camera.
Yeah.
We'll put that shit on camera right too.
Well, I'm glad we have chemistry on camera, because off camera we have no chemistry, but
Yeah.
we have some chemistry.
It's good. It really is.
Thank you. Coming from you, that's very flattering. And you filled up
Thank
my
you.
glass
Thank
with
you.
not tequila, but vino es bueno.
That was
Thank you
Nick.
so
yeah.
much.
She-
No mas.
he
I brought
has-
tequila,
he
but
brought
next time I'll
tequila.
bring
It's
more.
right there.
All my booze is down at the beach house. So.
That's right. I got you.
And I don't drink much when I'm up here. Down at the beach,
Yeah. Well,
guilty as charged.
This is a no judgment.
Okay,
no
what are we talking about
judgment
now?
zone.
What are we talking about now?
So I want you to pick. Okay, so we discussed your most favorite out of the short story
Ooh, favorite.
collection.
You're good. You can keep going.
What is your? Maybe I shouldn't have put that one in there.
What?
I don't want to say least favorite because that's
No, not at all.
That's
I have
negative
no.
as shit,
I have no
but-
regrets. I have no regrets.
nice.
I have no regrets at all. No, not least. There's one in there called Anne's Feet. Did you read that? Probably not.
I told you, I
It's
cannot-
the shortest story in there, and I really liked reading that. In fact, before I came here tonight, because I know we would talk about this book, and I reread that story, and it's about a page and a half. I could read it again if you want.
I would love for you to.
Really? I'll probably bore the heck out of your audience.
No, because that was a question I had. I was thinking when you were reading earlier, do you often
What?
just sit down and read in front of people?
No,
I
not
mean,
at
is
all.
that ever?
No, not at all.
No.
Never.
So you weren't hanging out like, what was that bookstore that they used to have?
No.
Barnes and Noble.
Oh, that guy? You weren't like one of those that just,
No.
no.
Barnes and Noble. You mentioned Barnes and Noble. That's kind of a sticky thing. I had somebody write a review on Barnes and Noble. It was probably from my neighborhood and like wrote a nasty review about
goodness.
but it had nothing to do with books. It was just retarded.
Like a,
And I contacted
So you got
Barnes
an
and Noble,
HOA
and I go, what is this? And they took it down immediately. And I'm sure they threatened them. So
Sounds
this
like-
is called Anne's Feet, and it's a page and a half.
who's Anne?
Anybody, you could be Anne.
I mean,
Anybody?
You could be Anne.
anybody.
Anybody. You could be Anne. You could be Anne. Shall I read this?
Please.
Or are you just like gonna get?
No,
You're gonna
seriously,
rib me
please,
for the rest
because
of the
I
night.
have a whole foot conversation we're about to have after this. Come on,
Are you into feet?
read.
The two girls had spent the morning at the salon. Julie had her fingernails polished, while Anne had the same along with her toes. It was late afternoon, and they both decided to have a drink on the beach.
Toes
Go
in
figure.
The sand.
And make plans for the upcoming weekend. You know how young girls are, right? Anne leaned back in her chair. She held her breath and stretched her legs out. The young woman could feel her muscles tighten and then relaxed them and exhaled. Anne looked down at her feet with their new robin egg colored nails and studied them closely if it was the first time she had ever seen them. Maybe I'll start a new trend for robin egg painted nails on their toes, on women's toes. She considered how much she had spent on keeping
I'm calling it jungle toes.
her feet looking attractive over the years. Do you think my feet look odd? Anne's voice was calm and focused. No, I believe you have lovely feet. Julie sounded factual in her remark. No, I say odd because they are too perfect. People do not have perfect feet. After all, a foot is nothing more than a stupid hand. I suppose you do, but you do have lovely feet, repeated Julie. Do you think I could find work as a foot model? Maybe the after picture after a bunion procedure or an aggressive toenail fungal infection. Probably not. No one would believe it. I can't believe my feet are too pretty for anything except to stand on. Anne then turned her gaze towards the ocean while she wiggled her feet into the warm sand. She closed her eyes and smiled and thought that with regards to your body, being healthy was more important than being attractive. So how a foot looked really wasn't important. She thought that she might stop putting the time and finances into beautifying them. They just needed to be sturdy and not hurt. No one could want anything more from a foot. After all, it was just a stupid hand.
Okay.
So what's the going away point? It's better to be healthy than attractive. And also, a foot is nothing more than a stupid hand.
Then a stupid hand.
All the podiatrists are going to give you bad reviews now. What?
You go get pedicures?
Really? Really?
It's a yes or no question.
That's definitely a strong no.
No?
No, never been.
No.
Never been.
You dig your toes in the sand?
I walk in the sand a lot. Yeah.
Barefooted?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What else? There's a whole movement with it's called grounding, and about feeling.
There is.
Yeah, about feeling the earth.
Yes.
So always barefoot on the beach. Yeah, and walk a lot. Yeah, without a doubt.
I'm always barefooted.
Miles and miles. Yeah, grounding is interesting because I don't know whoever sold that, they must have been from the city, because if you live in the country or down at the beach, you're barefoot all the time. So being grounded, it's supposed to be good for you. It's like, well, I've spent my whole life like that,
Seriously.
everything still hurts,
I still do.
and it hasn't done anything for me. But I guess, and I read, it's funny you mentioned grounding. I read something recently, and they talked about, sitting at a desk and taking your shoes off and like just feeling like, whatever's, feeling underneath.
The shag carpet.
Yeah, well, that's 70s, but but
hey,
putting your
I was
feet,
there.
putting your feet on the ground and,
Yeah.
and feeling that and being connected to Mother Earth. But
People don't do that anymore.
well, if you live in the country or down at the beach, you do it all the time. But if you're a city folk, okay, maybe grounding is important for you. It's okay,
I mean,
but whatever. There you go, sidewalking.
yeah. Getting your footsies
But
in.
if you're from this, the southeast or the south
Yeah.
or some beach community, you're just like, really, this is going to change my life? Not really, I don't think it's that therapeutic.
So where were you at when you decided that you were going to write about?
Anne's feet.
Yes,
I don't know.
yes, you do.
write a lot down on the island,
Yeah.
on South Padre Island, North Padre Island. I write a lot down there, and I have a back patio, and probably rum. If
And
I
so
was
this-
if I was going to throw
this
if I was
one
going to throw a dart, I
this
would
one
say
random foot
I would
model
say
walked by and you're
rum.
like,
I would say
"Yo,
rum.
Ann."
I would say rum and a candle and a pen. I used to teach, and my students gave me a pen, and I have composition books. Although I'm getting more in, I have a laptop, and I'm starting to do more of that. And I'll scribble notes down and just get liquored up and just write and just kind of vomit on pen to paper and do that. So, and probably down there, but who knows? Wherever. I travel a lot. I like to bring, paper and pen with me and just scribble notes down. So, but
Where's Anne?
if there's one
Where's
place,
her feet?
what's that?
Anne walked by there on the island somewhere. And you were like, your feet are way
Can I
too
say something?
freaking
Can
pretty.
I say no? No,
Why
I'm not,
in the
whoa,
hell?
time out. I don't have, if anything, I don't have I definitely don't have a foot fetish. I don't have a foot fetish at all. If anything, I've seen women with like crazy looking like toes all like twist.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And their nails are beautifully done. But they're you know what I
Yeah,
know
I
it's
know
like,
exactly what you're talking
and
about.
initially, can I say when I initially wrote that short story, that very short story, the shortest story in that book, I put a note in there about some women have really ugly feet, but they still feel like need to show it off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but what
You're only as strong as your weakest link.
But what? No. What is beauty?
can't handle these.
No, hang on.
You can't
Hang on.
But he says
Hang
at
on.
the end, yeah.
What is beauty? What is beauty? And some women have their beautifully done toenails, and yet their toes are like curled up and stuff. And I've seen that before. And I mean, and then I think, and I go, wow, that must be painful, especially if they wear certain types of shoes. And don't get me wrong, I can respect and admire an attractive foot, but I think when it comes down to it, if a foot is just a stupid hand, and I think people that are in the industry that do pedicures or whatever, they'd probably want to cut my throat for saying that. Maybe it's not such a big deal. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not, but not that as a man, I don't appreciate a woman doing that. And, but maybe it's not as important. And again, the whole thing of that, you're beating me up on that, but the whole thing on that
I
story,
absolutely am not.
that's the whole point of that story, is that health is more important than being attractive. You know what I mean? You could be the most attractive person in the world, but if you have a defining
a
illness,
rotten core.
a defining illness, and I don't mean about personality, I mean a real sickness, that it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I would,
110%.
and health is more important than anything. And a lot of people have probably, because podiatrists are probably making a fair amount of money. A lot of people probably have painful feet or uncomfortable, And I don't know. So, and I guess maybe I do look at women's feet because you girls show them off all the time. And I look at them. But, but health, I use that as a vehicle to say that health is more important than beauty.
Today's world.
What?
That is so tough from a woman to,
What?
I mean, it's absolutely, it's almost refreshing to hear that.
What?
That health is more important than beauty.
It is.
And in today's world.
Until you
with
get
the-
sick. When you get sick, then you realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, realize it.
But you know what's unfortunate about that?
What?
Is that it takes most to get sick until you actually realize it.
Oh, well. That's life. That's it.
It is.
You're born, you die, and the rest is magic and mayhem.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's ever how you want to follow it. And I will say, I mean, I respect women, so I respect you girls so much. I shouldn't say women. I respect you girls so much. You girls are complicated, and I hear men talk about, women are complicated. You're not. You're not. Men look at everything like it's a nail.
A nail.
Yeah, nail. We just, we're a hammer. Everything.
Yeah.
And I think women, personally, women are different. Women are different. And you girls are more like an onion. There's multiple layers. And you look at things differently. As a mother, as a wives, lover, a daughter. Caregiver. But you look at a businesswoman, in your case too, but you look at things from different perspectives. Mm-hmm. And I find it comical where men go, I don't understand her. And the thing is, personally, I think, right, men look at everything the same way, right? Everything's a nail. And I think you girls, again, I'm going to go back to the onion analogy. You look at things like an onion, that you have multiple layers to you, and you look at things differently because you put different hats on when you look at something. Does that make any sense? Mm-hmm. And I don't mean to confess that I understand the woman's psychic. I don't, but I respect it. And and that's how I feel. That, you're really not that complicated. You just look at things from, you see something and it's like, well, what hat is she wearing when she's looking at it? Because she looks at it from different perspectives. So anyway.
I think men and women are very similar.
Really?
I do.
In what way? We breathe air?
Well, I mean, and then there's that. I'm not going to give you all that, but I mean, yeah.
The
Yeah.
physiological, but how do you say psychologically?
Well, I think that you guys do view things the way that we view things in different manners, obviously. So if it's in caregiving, I think that y'all are, I don't want to say bred to or whatever. It's the testosterone-y side of y'all being the protector and I've got to go.
Nail.
I've got to.
It's a nail.
This,
It's
yeah.
a nail.
Yeah.
You got to hammer it.
But then once, if you realize that y'all can take caregiving to a completely other level, which is when you've got kids or you have grandkids or you have a dog or even if you have a goldfish, if you really understand that that is something that it's not a protecting aspect, or I'm just not the one that's supposed to just bring home the bacon. I am supposed to do more than that.
That sounds like a man when he gets older. Sounds like a man when he gets older. When a man's young,
Oh, yeah.
I could tell you about me
Y'all
right
got
into my
blinders
30s.
on. Y'all are doing,
No.
you didn't talk about being a nail. That's all y'all think about. Nail.
Yeah.
Nail.
When we get older, we soften up. We get more emotional. Without a doubt, when we get older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
the difference between a young man and an old man.
110%.
Yeah. We get older, we get more emotional. Yeah.
Cheese and rice. What can we do to change
What?
the formula and just
What formula? Why?
formula?
Why?
Why?
Why would you
Look,
change
we all
it?
want to get nailed.
I don't want to know.
just as much as y'all want to
no
nail
way.
us.
No way. No way.
And then as you're dying,
But we just want y'all to.
I want to be
mean,
no.
come on now.
I think no.
Look,
There's
the
a
book
reason
is called
for
Love
it.
and Love to War. Yeah.
Love to War.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Love to War. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You want me to read something else out of that?
Yeah, I want to finish our conversation
No,
about
all
yeah.
right. I'm trying to change it right
no,
now.
Yeah, I am
Can't back
absolutely
out of this, can
not
I?
going to let you do it.
Can't back
no,
out of it.
sir.
I would love to back out of it.
No, sir. No, sir. You can't back out of the jungle.
You're charming, but I have to go right now.
No, you don't.
Oh, wow. Oh, wait a
No,
second.
you
Oh, the phone
don't.
just rang.
Oh, my goodness.
Wait, I have an appointment.
Bless your heart. No, you don't.
All right, go ahead. Shoot. What are you gonna?
Come on,
tack me
finish
to
up
the
where
barn
we go.
with?
We're just
Tack
talking
me to the
about
barn. What do you want to know?
the difference when the young boys. We would just like to have. I mean, you guys
What?
to have some type of.
It's not going to happen.
It's
not going to
not.
happen. It's not going to happen. So
It's that
why?
one fucking
Why
rib,
change?
ain't it?
No. Why change? Why change? Can I say something? I'm
Please.
gonna get in trouble for this.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm sure your listeners are gonna hate to hear this. When I was younger, I mean, there could be an auto accident, there could be anything, and there could be bodies strewn all over the place and death and carnage. And I would go, yeah, let's go to lunch. And now that I'm older, yeah, I mean, things are different. But now when I was younger, I mean, I don't mean to make the flat tire sound. But when I was younger, I'd be like, yeah, let's go to lunch. And now I'd be like, maybe that's kind of... that's kind of messed. Well, that's kind of messed up.
Wanna catch a drink
that's
or something
kinda
later?
That's kind of messed
They
up.
help them out of their car.
Yeah.
That's kind of messed. No, I would help. Yeah, I would help. But I mean, maybe
Let me make
maybe
a phone call.
maybe I
Hello,
need to
911.
maybe I need to reflect a little bit. And maybe not. I wouldn't. The lunch would mean the first thing on my mind because it's 1 minute after 12. And I think you go through that. I remember meeting an older gentleman, and he was an older guy, and I wouldn't call him a wimp, but there was somebody I knew. Her brother used to sing and do recordings, and he lived in St. Thomas, and they would play his recordings, and it didn't matter what song it was, but when he heard this guy's voice sing, he would start to cry. And it was so funny because people would put the music on, and he was an older gentleman, and we would all laugh because we'd put this music on and he would start crying. And he goes, I don't know why I do this, but I always weep when I hear this guy. I would cry. I cry when I hear this guy's song. And I looked at this guy, and he wasn't a wimp. And I was like, I look at him and I go, when he was younger, he would never do that. But now that he's an older man, that somehow that song, those songs or the way he sings moves him in that respect. And young men don't feel that, Young men don't feel that, So.
We feel all that.
I know.
I mean, I do.
I know.
Yeah, I can watch a freaking commercial on the Super Bowl and start crying.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. And I understand
it's
that.
probably some stupid ass Pepsi commercial.
I understand
some
that,
shit.
and I understand that and respect that. But again, women. I think for me personally, this is my opinion. Women are an onion. There's multiple layers, and you guys just look at things from different ways. And sometimes something will hit you, and you'll look at it with a different hat on or a different perspective, and you'll cry. And sometimes men don't understand that, and you'll hear comics will make fun all the time about, I don't know what about, I don't know what my wife's thinking and blah, 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 and I just want to watch television and in the game or whatever. And I think personally, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I could be wrong. We'd have to do a study on it. But it's just you guys look at things with different hats on, and and I understand that and respect it, and it's okay. And that's why we're different, I like that old story too, and this is not from my loins at all, but women chase men, because of the rib, Supposedly Eve was made out of Adam's rib, and that, men chase women to get their rib back, and you girls are you're supposedly made from the same, but you're different. You're much different than men are. And I don't know, it's cool. I think it's cool. And I think if you were like guys, I wouldn't be interested in you. I wouldn't be
Same.
interested in your sex at all.
Yeah.
If you were the same, you know.
At what age do you feel like you?
Oh, but women really same? You said, you know, I always, I'm like 98% of men out there that we're just like we're like flattened that a woman would even sleep with us. That's like 98% of men. I mean, it doesn't matter if she has one eye and a wooden leg. You know what I mean? It's just like, really? She's interested in me? Oh my God, why? You know, I mean, is not that. And I will tell you right now. Let me let the secret out right now. 98% of men feel that way.
Really?
Oh, without a doubt, POP. But it just, like I said, it's just 98% of men. It's just, it's like, I can't believe, really, you know, and you girls, God bless you. You know, you worry about your hair. Hang on.
Bitch
You worry,
ass
hang on.
men.
You worry about your hair and your makeup.
Not this girl.
You know, I've seen women that are so attractive and they have like one crooked tooth in their mouth and they, whatever, or their hair, and they focus on that and they worry about it, you know, and they pine over it or they try to hide it. You know, there's a story in there about baggy pants, and they try to hide it, and they focus in on it, and it's some kind of flaw, and they worry about it. And again, 98% of men are just like, oh my God, really? She'll go out with me? Wow, you know, she's really going to do a second date with me? I can't believe it, you know, or whatever. She's going to talk to me. But there's a story in there. What is it called? I can't remember. No. Anyway, but there's a story in there about baggy pants. And actually, the woman in that story came up to our table in Cibolo and was running her yap. And I based the story off of her. But but it's so amazing, you know, and you girls try to hide things and that you worry about stuff. And
you know why we try to hide things and worry about stuff?
Oh,
because you guys are a bunch of fucking critical little shit breaks. And then
no, we're not.
For you to say,
no, we're
oh,
not. No,
fuck
we're not.
off. Well, first of all,
every woman out there, I'm
right.
letting you right now, 98% of us were just absolutely floored that you would even talk to us or spend time with us. Forget about sleep with us. Forget about sleep with us. And that's 98% of males out there.
Well, in the back of our mind, we all know that you guys would just completely fuck a hole in the wall. If it's there.
No.
Whatever.
Can I tell you a story? Can I tell you a story?
A soap dish, whatever.
No. If we know.
We know y'all will. But
if there was a snake in the wood pile, Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But, I mean, we're picky.
What, women?
I mean, some.
Women?
Some don't give a rat's
women?
ass. Yes.
Women are picky? Well, it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's your prerogative.
As you should be.
It's your prerogative.
That's my whole point.
Yeah. It's your prerogative.
Everybody should be picky. And, I mean, unless you've had that one rum and that one whatever.
I'm just saying. Well, that goes back to it. So, you know, you guys have you're controlling the faucet. And like I said, men, like 98% of us are just absolutely floored that a woman would even, you know, spend time with us or sleep with us.
And then there's so many that are like,
what?
I can't.
What?
I mean,
what?
Just think that y'all are just entitled to every ounce of
what?
Poon that is supposed to drop at your feet.
Well, they may have had their ego stroked by other women, and that's why.
Is that?
I don't know. I'm not speaking for the entire male population.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm just saying in
saying
general.
You know, 99.9.
Anyway, all right, 92. All right, I'm going to say 92%. 92% are just like thrilled at a woman, and you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she has one eye and a wooden leg. You know, it's like wow. You know, I'm so flattered.
Orifice, y'all are fine with it.
Wow, you're really like I don't. Well,
I can't speak for
I can't speak for the population.
Leg. Right.
Can I tell you something too?
Please.
That I over the years, and I'll tell you, but this is me. This is not, you know, I can't speak in general. But I think every woman, it doesn't matter who she is. Doesn't matter who she is, what she looks like, her background, whatever. I think if you spend enough time with her, there's something in there that a man could find attractive.
I love that. And thank you for saying that.
And I don't care. Like
Because
I said,
that
I don't care.
absolutely.
I don't care about if you spend enough time with her, you'll find something that's attractive.
And that is absolutely the same thing about a man.
Yeah. And that's why we're attracted to each other.
Yep,
Yeah.
110%. I tell you, and I will touch base on this. Just I learned a very long time ago that you can never judge a book by its cover, and that goes.
But that is true now in books.
Very yay. And this was in the business world. When I was wholesaling motorhomes all over the world and traveling and talking to people, and I'd be at NASCAR and hanging out on Redneck Row.
Mobile
and,
home central
I had
right
the
there.
entire fourth turn, and I tell you, there would be people that would come up and cut off jean shorts. I'm talking wife beater tank tops.
Women, men.
I mean, just all walks of women didn't really have on much. That I mean, if they had one tooth, in
Women
their head,
and men.
that
Okay,
was,
women
that
and
was that was great.
Women
if
and
not,
men.
no big deal. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of business down there. Sold a lot of coaches down there.
Absolutely.
And it would be the people that I literally could sit underneath a bridge and hang out and talk with so many of them. And just because I always had so many questions, I wanted to know how and why and what. And then there'd be the ones that would show up in the business suit and, you know, how and why and what and when. But there was no difference in that person that's sitting up in the skyrise or whatever versus this guy. You don't know this guy's story down here. I mean, my uncle was one of the wealthiest guys in New Braunfels, and he walked the streets up and down this town for years and years and years. No one would speak to him. No one would. They thought he was all cuckoo for coconuts. He was a veteran. That had all fucked up his head. He had millions of dollars buried in his backyard, in buckets, in mayonnaise cans.
Did you find them?
And we knew. We were the only people that knew.
So you knew.
So
You dug it up.
Excavated.
I was going to say, I mean.
The city wanted to condemn his home. I mean, so you just don't ever know. And so when you say that if you look deep enough, or if you meet that person,
Oh, okay, yeah.
that I feel like you can find love
Well, I'm talking about women.
within.
I'm talking women in general. I'm talking about women in general. I
I
don't
thought
mean
we
to
were
cut you
having a
off.
heartfelt moment.
No, we are, but I'm talking women in general. I mean, you spend time with them. There's something there.
Well, the same thing with about men. I mean, I can spend
Really?
time with women all day long.
But
and,
men like
and
everything.
I can't stand them.
See, now I think men look at everything like a
God,
hammer.
they get on my nerves.
Men are a hammer. They look at everything like a nail.
Y'all are fucking pussycats.
You really think we're that deep?
Oh, 110%. Y'all
Really?
just don't know it.
I'll be damned. Well, I've never looked at it from your sex. I have different plumbing. But thank you for
Well,
telling me
thank God.
that. I would never knew that. I would never thought that we were that interesting.
Absolutely.
Really, I'll be damned. You know? Wow. I was always raised with the joke, what's the difference between a man and a vibrator? You can't get a vibrator to mow the lawn.
You can't get a man to shut up.
Pourquoi? Anyway, so yeah. I never thought people looked at my sex that way.
I do, anyways.
I'll be darned.
Just like you said, I can't speak for all the other women in the
I'll
world.
be darned.
But
I'll be darned.
y'all are just as much of an onion as we are. But y'all are so much more stinkier. Y'all are the ones that make our eyes leak and shit.
Watery.
Yeah, the ones where we have to wear goggles on and yeah.
Okay. Hey, can we pull a plug on this?
Can we real quick?
Good
real
fucking
quick.
night.
We have to talk about. We have a third book,
Yeah. Hey,
and this is what that's all we're gonna say.
and then we're gonna bury it.
Yeah,
Sure.
Hey, open it up.
a Texas
Then we're
treasure
Open
tale.
it up. Open it up. Open it up. Look what I drew. Look what I put in there.
Is it a penis?
What do you think about that picture? That's us.
It's so good.
That's us.
Y'all have to wait for it. Look at you.
And I do okay.
You did so good.
Let me look at it again because I did it just before.
Don't show
I just
anyone.
came. I just came before I left here.
We'll pretend like we're playing the. What's the secret game?
Oh, that came out terrible. That came out terrible.
The camera's right there. No,
came out
it's
terrible.
so good.
I'm glad you enjoyed.
This is the third book.
I did a novella, which is a short novel novella, and novellas are really popular right now. And I don't know whether it's like people just want to read something short or like TikTok. They have a short attention span because of TikTok. But I wrote a short novel and tossed it out there. And I will admit there's some, it's the setting is North Padre Island. And there's some opening ends I left at the end of this book. And I sat back and I've been getting some feedback too. So do I write I was thinking about writing a full-length novel as a follow-up to it or another novella. I will tell you now I'm 3 chapters into the next book based on that.
Really?
I read an autobiography and it was like really good in the beginning and then towards the end it was so bad and then I finished it and I picked up another autobiography and I was reading that and I was like, wow, this really stinks. And it was enough to motivate me to start writing again.
I love
so I'm
that.
3 chapters into in a follow-up to that. I don't know what I was going to write. I thought I'd do something different, maybe something. I left that open. That's 117 pages. I mean, Hemingway, huge fan of mine. So much, and he got his Pulitzer Prize for Old Man in the Sea, which was 78 pages long. So I was like, let me do a novella and put it out there because I see a lot of people reading on the beach. And I wanted to write something that somebody could read, for like an afternoon at the beach if they're a big reader or the weekend and still have like a lot of drinks and have fun and not be wedded to a book and be done with it, before they go home, and have that connection to the island, have that connection to the beach. And that would, to me, if I heard one person read that book or part of that book on Padre Island somewhere, that would like make my life.
Really?
It would make me so happy. But anyway, so that's what I did and tossed it out there, and I've been getting so much good feedback. And again, I was dragging my feet, but I'm 3 chapters into a follow up to that. And there's one character in there named 9.5, who's based off a character actually in Port Aransas, and I met him and kind of mirrored it off of him a little bit, but not really. And the follow up to that starts out the first chapter with him in it. We'll see how it goes. Of course, it has to be edited. I mean, that book was a lot longer than it was, and after the edits, it got chopped down to what it is now. But and I'm really excited about it, and we'll see what happens. But I've got a lot of good feedback on that book. And
Well,
that
I can't
novella.
wait. We are going to we're going to discuss this one on our next episode.
Really?
We're
You're
going to
gonna have
talk
me
about
back?
Yeah.
You're not going to kick me to the curb?
Absolutely not.
Really?
No.
You don't hate me?
Oh my God!
I
Why would
hate your stinking guts. Good, say it.
No,
Say it.
absolutely not. You got my card in the mail. You know how.
With an
Yeah.
envelope.
Seriously, I mean, you're welcome.
Anyway, thank you so much. And
I'm
again,
so grateful.
I'm
for
flattered
you.
I got to
love
come
it.
back here.
It's so good.
And and
I feel like I learned something.
What? I'm sorry.
Is this one published
The
yet?
third book.
It came out It came out after Thanksgiving of last
So
year.
the third book is
So we've got 3 Midla books out there.
a
Yeah,
Texas
and
treasure
actually, I had the
tale.
best because it's I coined it as a romantic thriller, and that book I did an advertisement for one day, and I had over 2,700 downloads, which for Stephen King is probably a nothing burger, but for me that was the best day
Hey.
I had. So I had one day I had 2,700 downloads on the book. So
Congratulations.
yeah, I was very pleased with
Epic.
that. I was like, wow, So I'm building a rep
Hell
and
yeah.
building a name,
Love
as a writer. And anyway, so I've been getting some good feedback, and I've already started on another book. I don't know if it's going to be a full-length novel or another novella to follow up after that. And again, novellas are really popular right now.
I just like the word novella.
Really? Because it sounds like fella.
No, absolutely not. I just think it's a sexy word. Novella.
Okay, it's between a short story and a novel.
It's beautiful.
Right on.
I do. I just think that's a good word. Novella.
I almost added some short stories
like
at the
it.
end of that book, you know, in the front, and then
Yeah.
throw some at the end. But I go, you know what? I think it could stand alone, and I think it reads well. And again, I've gotten some good feedback, and I'm very happy with the project. Very, very more than you could know, but I'm very happy with the project.
I love it.
And again, I've already started on a follow up to it, and I love it's going to be a full length novel or another novella. Maybe another novella would be fun, and like somebody could pick up and read at the beach, and you know, whatever, you know, 2 tears in a bucket.
It's a good way to end that. 2 tears in a bucket.
Yeah.
And a novella coming soon.
Well,
After this one. We're going to talk about this one. We're going to talk about the Texas Trail
I don't
Tale.
feel in a rush
Treasure
to
Tale.
finish it, but it's coming. You know, and sometimes it's the hardest thing to start a book. It's the hardest thing to start it. And again, I read some garbage. I read some garbage, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like, oh, I could do better than that. I just read some garbage, and I was like, oh God, I need a break from this.
Mm-hmm.
I hit I whiffed twice. You know, I got 2 bad books, and I go, let me go ahead and try something, and it started.
Close.
It started, and sometimes the hardest thing is to start writing a project. So hopefully it continues forward, and I have something before this year is out, and have something out that I can give you and draw a picture in.
It is such a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure
You
to
have
be
no
here.
idea. You're a breath of fresh air, such a huge inspiration
To
for
what?
me.
To you?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know what to say.
I feel like every time we visit and every time we talk, I feel like I learn so much from
Really?
you.
About me or from in general?
Both.
Okay.
Just both.
I'm glad you don't hate my stinking guts.
I don't know where you get that from, but you need to
from-
take that and you need to go throw it in that
It's from a girl I
fucking
knew.
ocean.
It's from a girl I knew in college.
Why
That used to say
What?
that. That
We're
used to
not- I
say
don't
that
even know
about
her.
people.
Yeah.
That used to say that about people.
No.
I hate your stinking guts. And
No.
I thought that was the most vicious thing anybody could ever say.
Yeah,
so
so stop. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. No, I am not.
I'm flattered.
No,
I'm flattered.
it's every time you're here.
You're a
it is-
wonderful woman,
It
and
is
thank
such
you
an
so much.
honor, and I'm
No,
so
it's
blessed.
mine. It's
No,
mine.
Not
It's
at
mine.
all.
It's mine.
Not
By
at
far,
all.
it's mine.
Not at all. Thank
It's
you
by
so
far,
much.
it's mine.
I can't wait for the next
I
time.
put a blessing on it, see me dripping in it 24/7 on it. I'm just being honest, holy water dripping from my neck to my crepe, so I'm 2-stepping on it like